The Republican Lieutenant Governor of North Carolina, Mark Robinson, delivered a speech and touched on the subject of climate change. Had some thoughts about climate change and his belief that we shouldn't take the effects of it seriously and should try to respond to those effects and minimize the harm to our environment. And in so advocating for that position, he made clear how little he cares about understanding or how little he understands about this subject, and told a joke that we've heard before. We'll look at that example in a moment. That is so strange.
Those who believe in what is colloquially called climate change. I have tried over and over again to explain to these people about climate change. It happens 4 times a year. Right now it is summer. Soon it will be fall. Then it will be winter. After that, it will be spring. And then the cycle starts over again. That's the only climate change that I believe in. Certainly, we know that our globe shifts and there are cycles of warming and cooling. But they've happened since the beginning of time, apparently. Well, other ice ages that happened, I don't think any dinosaurs were going, look, and there's an Eastern airliner up there flying over us. Hey, that guy that killed Bob, he was driving an SUV.
So where to even begin? Before responding, here is another example of that same joke being told.
Look, I'm not here to deny climate change. It's real. It happens 4 times every year. I'll go on the record and say it. And look.
I've used this term in the past, but it's the celebratory ignorance that just really gets under my skin. Being so enthusiastic to prove how little you understand about something. Because they understand the definition of climate change, but they choose to pretend like they don't understand the difference between seasons and climate change. So just, I guess I should stipulate, those are seasons, Lauren and Mark, that you're describing with that joke. But they know. And even if you don't care for some reason about the impact of the way that we're treating our environment, threatening the quality of our air, threatening the increase of rates of disease, causing our water to be less drinkable, ecosystems being destroyed, areas of the globe no longer being livable, and this happening at a pace because of our actions and at a magnitude that will cause so much devastation because it's not the natural changes that you're referencing. Again, it's a pace and magnitude that then becomes very difficult to adapt to reasonably for so many people, especially those who are lower income, as so many of these different problems disproportionately impact. And so even if you don't care about all those different things that are a part of the basic quality of life for people, food supplies being threatened, why you would choose to put forward an argument that clearly shows, even if you have a different argument than me, separate from that, you just don't even know basic definitions about what we're talking about. And so then you're saying all the different things I listed and severe weather events impacting people even more disastrously. You're saying you don't care about all those things, but instead of making some argument that could even posture as logical for why you don't think we should respond to that, and our making more severe of those things based on our treatment of the environment, you choose to just act like you don't know any of the basic definitions of what we're talking about, the definition of climate change. How could you possibly make a reasonable, logical, convincing argument without even knowing the difference between seasons and climate change? Again, they know, but they choose to pretend like they don't or tell a joke about it to prove how little they care. And that's what's pretty wild, to think that people think that's wonderful. Before discussing further, by the way, here's more.
There's people running around here talking about electric cars and end oil and all of this foolishness. Don't realize something. They don't realize something. God blessed us with that oil for a reason.
And how is it that God didn't also bless us with the planet that then you're advocating for destroying? So there it is. How do you engage with that other than, I guess, just explaining why factually they're inaccurate. But that doesn't matter. It's not convincing to them, at least. And their audience seems to love eating up what they're saying. And so it's a really scary moment when we're getting way beyond, okay, how do we talk about complex solutions to such a massive and vast problem? How do we make sure we don't decrease the quality of life in the short term for people while adapting to make sure our planet is healthier in the long term? And it's a complex conversation. We're definitely not going to have that if we're having to stipulate basic facts of what we're talking about for people. And that is really, really unfortunate. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show and get a bonus show on the weekends, you can do so by going to lukebeasleyshow.com/membership. That's lukebeasleyshow.com/membership. And there's a link in the description.